Hello and welcome to a VO's Journey podcast. My name is Anthony Pica. This show is all about helping the new and upcoming voiceover artists grow their business and sidestep all the crazy things that I seem to step on. It is Thursday. That's right, Thursday, November 12th. And this is the third day in a row. It's crazy. I don't know what's going on with me, but you know what? I'm excited that I've been able to do a third podcast in a row. Today, I actually want to talk to you about something that I'm looking into, and I thought it would be helpful to share my thoughts with you guys, and that is looking for an assistant. I have been looking for an assistant. And I think that's actually kind of wrong. I actually have people who have offered, to meet with me and let me, talk to me about being an assistant of mine. But it's more so me being ready for the assistant. And I want to talk to you about that today and see if we can decide when you're ready for an assistant, what an assistant can do for you and what you need to do to get prepared for one. All right, let's do it.
This is VO's Journey. With your host, the incomparable Anthony Pica.
All right, so thank you as always for listening. And if you get a quick moment, please make sure at the end of this or whenever you head over there and if you would like to leave a review for this podcast, it really helps. And you can do it on iTunes. I actually, this is embarrassing, but I don't know if you can I think you can leave a review on Spotify. I think you can leave a review pretty much most places. I'm not sure though, so please, I apologize. I should know that, but I know that a lot of people, more and more people are finding me on different platforms, other than iTunes and Spotify, on a lot of different other podcast sites and apps and stuff. So I'm really excited about that. So thank you as always, you guys, for listening and being a part of that. All right, so let's dive into getting an assistant and what's going on with me. Why do I need one? And, what am I thinking about an assistant will do for me? So I remember when I first started out, there was no need for an assistant whatsoever because I didn't even know what I was doing. So, let alone having someone else do things to me, I didn't even know what they should do. But I think as you grow your business, all right, and as I've grown mine, more and more business comes in, but at the same time, it's like juggling. You know what I mean? More and more balls get juggled in the air. And as that happens, with voiceovers, with marketing, with the back end of customer relations. As you know, we are the customer relations for our business. So we have to be able to answer people. I get a lot of messages every day. I love it. And I try to, as part of my brand, and my business model, I want to answer people. I don't want to not answer people. Do I always succeed? No, I don't. But most of the time I try to, but I do have multiple channels, because people contact me on Facebook Messenger. They contact me on Facebook Business, DMs through Instagram, messages and replies through Twitter, messages and replies through LinkedIn, the Facebook group, all the different places that I am. And that's not email. And then there's everything through email. And then there's everything through the Fiverr Elite, the group, all the messages. So, there's so many places that, I like to keep up with people and they can keep up with me. But there's also, like I mentioned, the financial part, right? The back part of the business, other than customer relations, like making sure the money and the work, the flow of things are correct. Everything's paid. Everything's being tracked. Right? That's important. But there's also daily jobs that have to be done to get business, like sending emails, like posting proposals, like doing buyer requests, like, following up with leads, like tracking those things. Right? There's things as well. But what about content creation? That's a whole nother part of what I do daily, content creation. And if you're just starting out or if you're working on redoing your your audio and stuff, you're working daily on your space, or you're working daily on your DAW. You know what I mean? So, I mean, there's so many things that we juggle. And the more business you get, what happens is it takes time away from juggling all those other things. So it's so vital to be able to keep those things going. I have to tell you, I guess I technically already have an assistant, so I guess it's not fair. I think of him way more than assistant, but I guess he is an assistant. He assists me in doing my social media stuff and my production stuff for the demos for VO's Journey. So my social media manager, he I meet with him on a weekly basis, and basically he takes the content that I create daily and he chops it up and puts it into little minute or less segments and posts it and schedule posts and, does all that kind of stuff, comes up with the type of structure of the content and formats all of that and does that regularly. So, I'm posting 4, 5, 6 times a day on social media, which is a big deal because, that is the basis of my business. That's the face of the business, right? I mean, you guys are here listening to me because you found me somewhere through, well, most likely you found me, you could have found me through this podcast, which is, what I do generally. But, most people who work with me, everybody, they found me somehow through social media, and they've gone through the, the path, if you will, that leads, through a social media outlet to my website or the Facebook group or to one of my other groups or Fiverr Elite, or working with me privately one-on-one, or getting a demo from me, or buying courses, or being a part of the mentor program, or whatever way that they work with me. Or my voiceover clients who, find me through social media, find me through my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel has been a big one for voiceover work. And they find me, they email me. Today I've done a couple of jobs through, clients through email. So, it's definitely quite a bit of work every single day. And on top of that, if I'm trying to think strategically and build more things like more business, more courses, and, adding more content and stuff, and coming up with lesson plans and things that we do for the meetings on Wednesdays and Saturdays, you know what I mean? It's a lot to juggle. So as I've done more and more of it, I've thought a lot about getting an assistant. But I want to talk to you about my thoughts about what the assistant would do and what I'm going to do in order to make sure that the assistant I work with will be set up for success. Now, it's important to note that during all this time, and I'm doing this, some days are better than others, but I recommend you do this too. We start by writing down every process that we do. And every time even if it's something like, because most of us by now know our process, like how we record, edit, master, send off files, how we save them, how we list them, how we organize stuff. And if you don't, that's an important thing to find out or to figure out, right? But writing that process down, like literally, or typing it down on a document, from point A, from point B. It doesn't have to be some crazy system, but even if you do bullet points, what this starts to do is it starts to do a couple of things when you start writing down everything that you're doing and how you do it. Well, what it starts to do is it starts to create more of a system, a product, as opposed to everything is dependent upon you. Because if it's not all dependent upon you, that means that you could replace what you're doing with someone else to leverage your time. Just like I said, I've said it many times, the way to really get ahead as we move forward with our businesses is OPT and it's OPT and OPM, other people's time and other people's money. Okay, that's how we leverage, in investing, we try to really leverage OPM, other people's money, banks' money, investors' money, but through our businesses, we try to leverage other people's time. you know what I mean, to help us grow, because there's only so much you and I can do by ourselves. We have to have someone else help us. So for me, what I'm doing and what I recommend you doing is writing down all your processes, all the things that you currently do, even if they're second nature to you by now. You still want to write them down. You still want to make them a part of what you're doing on that document, a manual, if you will. It's like you're creating a manual. Think of it this way. If you went to sell your business tomorrow, all right, and someone's like, great, I want to buy your voiceover business. And then they're like, okay, what do I do? And you need to hand them your manual. Do you have anything to hand them? Right? Like, how would they take your business and make it run if you don't have some sort of manual or documents that tell them how to run your business? How's your business set up? How is, everything? Like, how is everything, how do you communicate with people? What, how do you use your website? How do you post things? Do you do social media? What are you doing on social media? When do you post? What do you post? How do you post? How are you formatting your files? Where do you save them? Et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so these are things that I'm working on. It's tough because in the middle of everything I'm doing, it's like stopping and thinking, okay, you got to write this down. And a lot of times it's easier not to do that, just to keep moving forward. So that's something that the first thing that I'm still working on, and I feel like I don't want to hire an assistant to do that and to do something until I've actually come up with exactly the systems that they need to do. However, I can tell you, by having a plan, okay, by having that written down, even for marketing. So imagine this. Imagine having a person that can literally every single day go in, do your buyer requests, do your proposals, send out emails, and that's all they do every single day. I mean, that's all they do. Okay. And then you get to work on other things, like maybe creating content for social media, following up with leads, talking to people, doing the voiceover work that you have, working on, actually doing voiceovers while someone is marketing. The key, though, to getting to that place with the assistant is making sure that process or those processes, like for emails, for buyer requests, for proposals, for auditions, all that stuff is available. Your demos, they're available, video demos. How do you send templates? I mean, that's a big reason why I created the Marketing 101 course for voice actors. I wanted to create a step-by-step processed plan that voice actors could actually take, and it's tangible, right? There's templates, there's tracking sheets, there's daily activities that are listed specifically, and it shows you every bit of the way how to do it and there's 3 phases, right? So it's really one of the best courses I've ever created, because I really looked at it. I tried to create it from the eye of how can I systematically create a process, okay, for a voice actor to follow without having to ask, well, hey, what's next, or how do I do that, or how do I do this, and so forth. So that's why that course is and when I work with an assistant, that course actually will help me show the assistant what we do. Okay, and the same thing for you, especially, like, for example, here's another thing. What about an editor? Now, I know there's people out there who edit, you know what I mean? So you can pay them, but you're still going to want to be able to show them and write down your process, or at least tell them what you want done. Okay. So for me, that's what I'm working on for my assistant. When it comes to cost, that's another thing that I've not really dove into yet with cost, because, I'm not quite sure. I think what I want to do is pay by the hour and, go further with hourly pay. But also one thing that I'm looking at is, as my business grows, and at this point, I'm looking at how I can actually add insurance to my business, okay, so that my business can offer insurance, so that I could actually have a full-time employee, which would be really nice, and that I could offer benefits and stuff. So I'm looking into that as well, and talking to some insurance companies, and pretty blown away about, how much it costs. But at the same time, the importance of it is this. You might be like, why are you doing that? Why don't you just pay for, why don't you just pay a freelancer too, or someone? And I totally agree with that. Like, cause think about it. There's Fiverr, there's Upwork, there's Guru, there's all the places that we use anyways, or we use for our business. But the reason why I was thinking of an employee is also because, there's a lot of benefits to having employees too. As you start making more money, you're gonna realize, Uncle Sam, they want that taxes from you. And especially coming up, I don't know what's going to happen with the new administration and new taxes. So we have to, as business owners, just be aware of what's happening. So having employees, helps too, I think, with taxes in the sense that, you can offer, we can offer these things for employees like benefits, and it helps everyone. It helps the employee, helps the business. So I don't know. I'm looking at that as well. So there's all of that. But in the end, I think between me and you, it's probably a lot has to do too with me, if I'm going to be completely open about it, is kind of nerves. I'm a little nervous about it, right? And letting go of the reins a little bit. It's been interesting because with my social media manager, who also does the production for the demos that we do. I do the voice acting and the coaching, and I write the scripts, and he does the production side of it. He's been amazing, but I've known him now for years. And, it's been kind of one of those things where a lot of trust is built up over him. So that's another thing, you guys. What's the process or the system you build to vet your assistant, right? How do you know if they're going to do X, Y, Z? Well, I can tell you this. The best thing to do when you have somebody or somebody working for you. Now, I've not got a system for my business yet, but I used to, as many of you know, I used to have a cafe many years ago. And of course, I had about 5 or 6 employees. And I think, I don't think I was the best boss because I don't think I did a very good job of setting expectations for my employees. Meaning like I didn't lead. I didn't show them what exactly they needed to do, when they needed to do it, how they needed to do it. I didn't create the atmosphere that, allowed them to come to work and do the simple actions that I need them to do without them having to make these big, business altering decisions. So we don't want to lead by abdication. Right? Or it's called authority by abdication, meaning that, you don't want to give someone authority over your business because you don't have a system put in place for them yet. Do you know what I mean? It's like, hey, can you take care of this? Well, sure. Well, is there a system so they know how to take care of that? Or are they just going to kind of come up with it on their own? I know a lot of us who are listening may not be there for an assistant yet, but you might be. You might be thinking, man, I got so much to do. How do I get X, Y, and Z keep going? Or remember, this business, it's not all or nothing. You might want to hire someone for 2 or 3 hours a week or something, right? To send emails or to answer emails or to, put something together for you or do some research for you or follow up with leads or get leads. You might want to pay someone 2 or 3 hours a week to get leads for you off of LinkedIn or something. So, but the whole point about this is, really dive into the processes you're creating. Think of every single thing that your assistant would need to know, okay, to the point where they could literally do X, Y, Z by following your directions, and then that's it. They don't have to worry about anything else because every single scenario. Now, of course, you're not going to know every scenario, but every scenario you can think of. And whenever a new one comes up, we write it down, we document it, we come up with the solution. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get past myself. I will tell you, I do have some other things happening in the background with my family, in which case, there could be someone in my family who would be working with me in the future. So there's also kind of stopping me a little bit from hiring someone. But with all that being said, I think most of it is me just getting everything written down that I want someone to do. So if you are in the similar situation and you're looking for an assistant, that's my recommendation. Let's start by getting everything written down, all the processes that you would like them to, everything that you'd like them to do and the processes they need to follow in order to do it. Okay? All right, you guys, I hope this has been helpful to you or just makes you think about an assistant. It's funny today in our day and age. I mean, we work all over the world. Anything is possible. It's incredible what we can do from our house. And no longer do you have to think that we have to do all this alone, right? So anyways, thank you guys again for listening and being a part of a VO's journey. If you are interested in that marketing course, I'm telling you, it's incredible. It's called Voiceover Marketing 101, How to Get Clients. It's just a great process, step-by-step process, and it's fantastic. There'll be a link below in the description of the podcast, as well as you can go to avosjourney.com and check it out there. All right, you guys, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day. I will talk to you soon. Peace.